Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Chinese ebook before it's gone.
Hey, 大家好，我叫马燕如。Hey everybody, I'm 燕如嘛。Welcome to ChineseClass101.com's 3分钟汉语 the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Chinese. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in Chinese. Do you remember them? In this lesson, we're going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. But because you're asking it in Chinese, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you are saying, even if the answer is no. Here is a common, slightly informal way to say it. 你会说英语吗？你会说英语吗？ Let's break that down. You, 你 can, 会 speak, 说 English, 英语 question mark particle 吗？ You will notice the word 你 in the beginning of the sentence. Remember that this is the way to say you. The next word 会 is like the English can. Then we have the verb 说, which means to speak. Next up is 英语, the word for English. And last we have 吗. This is used to ask a question. It works just like a question mark. Put it at the end of the sentence with a low tone. Altogether, it's 你会说英语吗? To learn how to properly use verbs like 会, please look at our Absolute Beginner series on ChineseClass101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there. We are now going to make this sentence formal. First, we need to use the formal version of you, which is 您. Even if we change the word for you, we don't need to change the verb 会. Everything stays the same. 您会说英语吗？您会说英语吗？ Adding 请问, the sentence becomes even more polite. It means something like excuse me here. Altogether, it's 请问您会说英语吗？ The responses you will receive could be one of these three. 会 yes, 会 or 会我会说一点 yes, I can speak a little. 会我会说一点 or 我不会说 no, I don't. 我不会说 Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say the negative word 不 before the verb 会. It's just that easy. Now it's time for Yenru's tips. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can use this question with any language you need. More and more Chinese people are studying other languages, so maybe you will get lucky. Just replace 英语 with 意大利语 for Italian, 俄语 for Russian, 西班牙语 for Spanish, 德语 for German. This lesson we mentioned the expression 请问, but did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in Chinese. I will see you in our next 3分钟汉语 lesson. 再见。大家好，我叫马燕如。Hey everybody, I'm 叶如嘛。Welcome to ChineseClass101.com's 3分钟汉语 the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Chinese. In the last lesson, we learned how to show gratitude by saying 谢谢, In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in China. 准备好了吗? Are you ready? 我们开始吧。So, let's start. The most commonly used greeting is 你好,你好. You may remember this from lesson 1. 你好 means hi, hello, and how do you do? It's a slightly formal expression though, so just use it at work or similar occasions. Don't use it with your family and friends. The informal hello is sure to be familiar to you. You probably use it every day already. Hey, hey. If it sounds familiar, it's because it's just like English hey, but make sure to say it with the right Mandarin tone. Hey. When you want to greet someone in the morning, you can also say 早啊,早啊. It's very commonly used, but it's slightly informal. What about when we leave? What should we say? 再见. This very common expression is similar in meaning to the English see you again. 再见. This is goodbye. Though simple, it can be used in almost all occasions. Now you can greet people in many different ways in Chinese. Let's review them all again. When meeting people for the first time or in a formal occasion, 你好. When meeting friends or family members, you can say, hey. In the early morning, you can say, 早啊. When leaving, no matter whether it's a formal or informal situation, 再见. It's easy, isn't it? Now it's time for Yanru's tips. As you know, there are more and more Chinese starting to learn English. This has started to affect the language. Just like how you can say hey instead of 你好, you can also say bye-bye instead of 再见. So if you forget how to say 你好 and 再见, you can use the easy heys and bye-byes and people will understand you with no problem. During the next lesson, we'll learn the meaning of the phrase 你会说英语吗? Do you already know it? I will be waiting to talk about it with you in our next 3分钟汉语 lesson. 再见。
Learning to carry a conversation is vital to mastery of any language. Even beginners can quickly learn conversational language well enough to carry on real conversations with native speakers. Of course, beginners won't be able to carry a conversation the same way they could in their native language. But just knowing a few tips, like which questions to ask to keep a conversation going, are all you need to speak and interact with real native speakers. Before we get to specific suggestions, let's first take a closer look at how having real conversations in your target language is so vital to your mastery of the language. Communicating with other people is the very point of language, and conversation comes easily in our native tongue. For beginners, or anyone learning a new language, conversations aren't easy at all, and even simple greetings can be intimidating and awkward. Nothing kills a conversation faster than long periods of awkward silence, so you need practice and specific strategies to avoid them. When you know what to say to keep a conversation going, communication becomes much easier, and you make a better impression on your listener. Nothing will help you learn to speak a language faster and truly master the language than having real conversations with native speakers. Conversations quickly expose you to slang, cultural expressions, and vocabulary that force you to absorb and assimilate information faster than any educational setting. And that's a great thing. But how can you possibly have real conversations with real people if you're just starting out? Here are 3 proven methods that even beginners can quickly use to learn conversational language to make a great impression and avoid awkward silences. First, ask questions to keep a conversation going. For beginners and even more advanced speakers, the key is to ask questions to keep a conversation going. Of course, they can't be just random questions, or else you may confuse the listener. But by memorizing a few key questions and the appropriate time to use them, you can easily carry a conversation with minimal vocabulary or experience. And remember, the more conversations you have, the quicker you will learn and master the language. Second, learn core vocabulary terms as quickly as possible. You don't need to memorize thousands of words to learn conversational language. In fact, with just a couple hundred words, you could have a very basic conversation. And by learning maybe 1,000 to 2,000 words, you could carry a conversation with a native speaker about current events, order in restaurants, and even get directions. To help you get started with this, check out our 2,000 common words, also known as our core list. These 2,000 words are all you need to learn to speak fluently and carry a conversation with a native speaker. Third, study video or audio lessons that you can play and replay again and again. If you want to know how to carry on a conversation, then you need exposure to native speakers, and the more, the better. Studying video or audio lessons is ideal because they provide contextualized learning in your native language, and you can play them again and again until you achieve mastery. Our instructors have created more than 2,500 video and audio lessons that you can play over and over. And the best part is, they don't just teach you vocabulary and grammar. They are designed to help you learn to speak and teach you practical everyday topics like shopping, ordering, and more. Although it may seem intimidating for a beginner, the truth is that it's very easy to learn conversational language. Just learn a few core vocabulary terms and which questions to ask to keep a conversation going. Our language learning program has the world's largest online collection of video and audio lessons by real instructors, plus tons of advanced tools to help you learn to speak and carry on a conversation quickly. Just a little practice and exposure to real conversations or lessons is all it really takes. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hey, 大家好，我是马燕如。Hi everybody, I am 燕如嘛。Welcome to ChineseClass101.com's 3分钟汉语 the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Chinese. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Chinese. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. 准备好了吗？ Are you ready? 我们开始吧。So let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It is just one word. 谢谢。谢谢。谢谢 means thanks. Another slightly more emphatic way of saying thank you is 谢谢你. Do you see what we changed? We just added 你 to the end. 你. As you may recall, this is a word for you. It's like saying thank you. 谢谢你。谢谢你。When you really want to express thanks to someone, there is a different way to do it. 太谢谢了。太谢谢了。As we've seen before, 谢谢 means thanks. Here, we've got a new word 太, which means too, as in too much of something. 太 and another 了 together, this sentence is like thanks too much. 太谢谢了。How about the response? It's easy. Let me show you the most basic way to do it. 不用谢。不用谢。用 here means need. 用 Putting the 不 before it makes it negative. 不 Altogether, it's 不用 no need. 不用 Finally, we add 谢 which means thanks. So it means something like no need to thank. We use it just like the English you're welcome. So when someone says 谢谢 to you, you can simply reply with 不用谢. Now it's time for English tips. Although 谢谢 is simple, it can be used in both formal and informal situations with just about anyone, anywhere, and at any time. But actually in China, we don't usually say 谢谢 to our families and our close friends. The expression while applied creates a feeling of distance, but it doesn't mean that we take thankfulness for granted. Instead, we will do something else in the future to show our gratitude. Do you know how to say see you later in Chinese? Here is a hint. I've been saying it at the end of every episode. In our next lesson, we'll go over this in detail and talk about other ways to say goodbye and hello in Chinese. Until then, 再见!
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1, listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2, read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3, leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4, unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Welcome to Can Do Chinese by ChineseClass101.com.
大家好，我是李英如。Hi everyone, I'm Yinru Li. In this lesson, you will learn how to introduce yourself in Chinese.
This is Mark Lee, and he's on a plane to China. Zhang Zhu, a passenger sitting next to him, introduces himself by saying, "Hello, my name is Zhang Zhu. Pleased to meet you."
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
Listen to the conversation and focus on Mark's response. Ready?
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。
Once more with the English translation.
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
Hello, my name is Zheng Zhu. Pleased to meet you.
你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。
Hello, my name is Mark Lee. Pleased to meet you.
Let's take a closer look at Mark's response.
Do you remember how Mark Lee introduces himself? Hello, my name is Mark Lee. Pleased to meet you.
你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。
First is
你好，
meaning hello.
你好，你好。
This is a commonly used greeting, and it is often said when meeting people for the first time. This starts with the word
你
you.
你
Next is the word
好
good.
好
Together, it's
你好
This phrase literally means you good, but translates as hello.
你好
Pronunciation note: when there are two third tones in a row, the first one changes to the second tone. Listen to the pronunciation again.
你好 你好
This pronunciation change is not reflected in the pinyin, as you will still see two third tones. Before we look at how Mark introduces his name, let's look at the last part of Mark's response.
很高兴认识你
Nice to meet you, or pleased to meet you.
很高兴认识你
First is
很
very.
很
This is followed by
高兴
translating as pleased in this context.
高兴
Next is
认识
to know.
认识
Last is the word
你
you.
你
Altogether,
很高兴认识你
literally, very pleased to know you, but it translates as pleased to meet you.
很高兴认识你
When meeting someone for the first time, you'll often hear this phrase, but omitting it in favor of a simple
你好
is often enough. Do you remember how Mark Lee says, "My name is Mark Lee"?
我叫马克里。
First is
我
I.
我
Next is the word
叫
which translates as to be called.
叫
Together, it's
我叫
literally, I'm called, but it translates as my name is.
我叫
This phrase is used to introduce one's own name. Next is Mark Lee's name.
马克里
Note, there is often a short pause between the first and the last name. For example,
马克里
first is Mark's given name,
马克
Mark.
马克
Followed by his family name,
里
Lee.
里
Altogether,
我叫马克里
I am called Mark Lee.
我叫马克里
When giving foreign names in Chinese, the name order follows the order of the original language. For example, Mark Lee translates to
马克里
as the name order in English is given name followed by family name. For Chinese names, the order is family name followed by given names. Zhang Ju uses this order when he says
我叫朱正。
his family name
朱
is followed by his given name.
正
The pattern is
我叫 name
my name is name.
我叫 name
To use this pattern, simply replace the name placeholder with your name. Imagine you're Karen Lee. In Chinese,
凯伦里凯伦里 凯伦李。
Say, my name is Karen Lee. Ready?
我叫凯伦李。
My name is Karen Lee.
我叫凯伦李。
When introducing yourself as a Chinese learner, you might want to use just your given name. 我叫凯伦。My name is Karen. 我叫凯伦。You can feel free to use the name you would like to be called.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫凯伦李，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫凯伦李，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫李音如，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫李音如，很高兴认识你。
你好，我是李林，很高兴认识你。你好，我是李林，很高兴认识你。
Did you notice how the last speaker uses a different sentence pattern?
She says,
我是李林，
I'm Lin Lee.
我是李林。
First is
我
I.
我
Next is,
是
in this case, it's like the am in I am.
是
Together,
我是
I am.
我是
Last is the speaker's name.
李林
Note the name order, last name,
李
followed by given name.
林
Altogether,
我是李林
I'm Lin Lee.
我是李林
This is also a common way to introduce yourself. The pattern is
我是 name
I am name.
我是 name
Do you remember my introduction at the start of the lesson? 我是李音如。I'm 音如李。我是李音如。My introduction follows the pattern of 我是 name. I am name. 我是 name.
You should be aware of this pattern, but for this lesson, we'll use the sentence pattern.
我叫 name
My name is name.
我叫 name
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say hello? 你好。你好。And how to say I? 我。我。Do you remember how to say Mark Lee in Chinese? 马克里。 马克里。Do you remember how Mark Lee says, "My name is Mark Lee"? 我叫马克里。我叫马克里。Do you remember how to say, "Pleased to meet you"? 很高兴认识你。很高兴认识你。Do you remember how Mark Lee says, "Hello, my name is Mark Lee. Pleased to meet you"?
你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫马克里，很高兴认识你。Do you remember how Zheng Zhu says, "Hello, my name is Zheng Zhu. Pleased to meet you"?
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
Let's practice. Imagine you're
凯伦里，
respond to Zheng Zhu's self-introduction. Ready?
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫凯伦里，很高兴认识你。
Listen again and repeat.
你好，我叫凯伦里，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫凯伦里，很高兴认识你。
Let's try another. Imagine you're
李林，
ready?
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫李林，很高兴认识你。
Listen again and repeat.
你好，我叫李林，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫李林，很高兴认识你。
Let's try one more. Imagine you're
李英如，
ready?
你好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识你。
你好，我叫李英如，很高兴认识你。
Listen again and repeat.
你好，我叫李英如，很高兴认识你。你好，我叫李英如，很高兴认识你。When speaking with your elders or people of higher social status, it's recommended to use 您, the honorific term for you, instead of 你。您 you in honorific speech. 您 您 So to sound more respectful, Zheng Zhu, who is younger than Mark, could say 您好，我叫朱正，很高兴认识您。This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Well done! Now you know how to introduce yourself in Chinese. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Welcome to ChineseClass101.com's 3分钟汉语 the fastest, easiest, and most fun way to learn Chinese. Hey, 大家好，我叫马燕如，很高兴与大家见面。Hi everybody, I'm Yanru Ma. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Chinese expressions. It's super easy and only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to introduce yourself in Chinese. Ready? Let's get started. 你好，我叫马燕如。Hi, I'm Yanru Ma. 你好，我叫马燕如。Start by saying 你好, which means hello. 你好。Then say 我叫, which means I'm called. 我叫。After this, say your name. 你好，我叫马燕如。Yes, it's just that easy. When you introduce yourself, you might want to tell people a little more than your name. Again, it's easy. You're learning Chinese, so let's say you want to tell people you're a Chinese student. In Chinese, this is 中文学生. The first word, 中文, is the word for the Chinese language. 中文. Next, we have 学生. This means student. 学生. Altogether, it's 中文学生. 中文学生. Now, if you want to say I'm a student, just start with the word for I we learned before. 我. Then add 是. This means is. 是. After this, add the word for student. Do you remember it? 中文学生. 中文学生. Put them together and you have 我是中文学生。我是中文学生。Remember, start by saying hello, then say your name. 你好，我叫马燕如。Follow with a little bit about you. 我是中文学生。And now you have a nice self-introduction. 你好，我叫马燕如。我是中文学生。Now it's time for Yanru's tips. When men introduce themselves, it's very common for them to shake hands. In business situations, women will do this too. In social or casual situations, however, it is common for women to simply nod or smile in order to show friendliness. Do you know how we say thank you in Chinese? Come to our next lesson and you'll see how easy it is. 再见. See you then.
If you're tired of knowing and speaking the language at a basic level and want to express yourself fluently just like native speakers, then you'll need to learn grammar. The problem? It can be tricky to learn. But don't worry, in this guide you'll discover how to learn and master grammar with the Grammar Bank. 1. Where to get all of the grammar explanations you'll ever need. 2. The best way to learn grammar that's right for your level. And 3. How to expose yourself to real examples until the rules become natural to you with a study tool called the Grammar Bank inside of our learning program. But first, if you don't yet have access to our program, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description. First, what is the Grammar Bank? The Grammar Bank is like a grammar dictionary, except online. It's a database of the must-know grammar rules and explanations that makes it easy to look up specific rules and learn them. Look for it in the top menu of our site. 2. How do you learn grammar with it? The best way to learn grammar is not to just study rules, but to learn in context and hear the grammar used in real life. And that's exactly how you learn with our lessons. You learn a quick conversation and hear how the grammar rules are used within that conversation. 3. What if you come across grammar that you're not familiar with? Or what if you want to review a specific rule without going back to redo a lesson? That's where the Grammar Bank comes in. You can look up grammar rules and get the explanations, examples, and links to lessons where we cover these rules. You can also sort grammar by learning level. So if you're an absolute beginner and want to make sure you know all of the absolute beginner grammar rules, you can do just that with the Grammar Bank. You can also sort the rules by spelling, category, and lesson series. And if you want to get used to the grammar patterns so that you can use them in conversation and become fluent, the best way is to expose yourself to examples as much as possible. Grammar is hard at first, but gets easy once you get used to it with enough exposure. Be sure to access the related lessons inside the Grammar Bank and listen to the native conversations that use the rule as much as possible. So, if you want to become fluent and speak perfectly, you'll need grammar. Take advantage of the Grammar Bank inside of our learning program. But if you don't yet have access, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to sign up. Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Chinese ebook before it's gone.